execute. That's the game plan for Matt Hunter and Quadry Smith. The two may have bonded over basketball, but they also share a love for shoes. And the two say this is only the beginning for Division I.
My name is Quadry Smith. I am co-founder, co-owner of the best store in the world, Division I. I was born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Moved from Milwaukee to Menasha about 3rd grade. In about 6th grade, I moved to the metro Atlanta area, where I stayed there until my senior year. And that's when I came back to Menasha, and I graduated from there. I then went to college at Fox Valley Tech for firefighting, and that's where I proudly dropped out.
My name is Matt Hunter. I'm a co-founder and co-owner also of Division I. I grew up in Madison, Wisconsin. I was born in Janesville, Wisconsin. Went to high school at Madison La Follette. It's on the east side of Madison, and I grew up playing basketball.
My name is Indy Joe Hall. I'm a Swiss Army knife at Division I. I guess my story starts in Queens, New York, where I was born. I moved a lot as a kid, but where I spent most of my time was in Menasha, Wisconsin. I went to school there most of my life. That's really how I met Quad, was my freshman year of high school, and he was a senior.
So growing up, my dad, he had a crazy sneaker collection, so that's where my first love for sneakers came. But then growing up in the metro Atlanta area, that's where my love for fashion grew.
I've always really been into fashion, or in shoes. I've always cared about what's on my feet. There was never a specific shoe that really got me into the world. I've just always had a love for it. I think basketball had an influence on that as well, just because, if there was a specific shoe that got me into it, it was probably a basketball shoe that I was wearing when I was younger. T-Macs come to mind right away. I remember wearing a blue pair and a white pair, swapping them out kind of thing.
Growing up, my parents were what stood out to me, so seeing them and how they carried themselves and how they dressed was something that, I caught on to quick. Till probably freshman year of high school, I was wearing clothes from Shopko, the Nike Just Do It shirts. Going to Champs, I remember getting my first pair of J's, the Son of Mars 3s, the white cement. That was my first pair of cool shoes that I ever had.
Growing up, I was big into basketball, playing AAU my entire life, school ball, any league I can play in. My family play basketball, it's just a family thing. That's also how I met Matt. We were rivals, never on the court with each other, always going against each other. And that's how our relationship grew, from going at it on the basketball court.
Before moving up to Appleton, when I was going to Madison College, I was on the basketball team, but I just felt like in order to get life straight, I just had to get out of Madison. So I dropped out
proudly
and ended up moving towards Appleton. At that point, just playing a lot of basketball, met a lot of people instantly, met Quad, that was probably in 2013. Also met Indy in the basketball world. Met a lot, really the closest people to me to this day I met on the basketball court.
With Quad playing ball in college, I had the opportunity to go to the open gyms and play with some older kids when I was a sophomore. And I believe that's around the time Matt came up here.
I worked a bunch of jobs from caregiving, retail, office, cubicle jobs. At the time, I didn't know what it was doing for me, and it was really setting this foundation, building me up to the entrepreneur that I am. As a kid, I always wanted a clothing brand. It was something that I always wanted to do. It was called Dabbing in the Sauce. It was something that it lived on for a little bit. It was another one of those things that I learned a lot from it. It built me up to this point.
Once I moved up here, just started working, making money. Worked my way up from job to job. Throughout this time, I continued playing basketball, reselling shoes on the side. I started an Instagram page, and whether it was streetwear or shoes, I wasn't into vintage on my Instagram at that point. And that went well, but I just kind of got tired of it, I guess, maybe you could say. It's kind of crazy how Division I started, because at the end of the day, as far as experience goes, it comes together well to start up a store like we did.
Division I started by us realizing that there was a problem in our area for people who wanted to shop like us. It was around the time where our friendship was really, we were hanging out a lot at this point. And we were doing a lot of shopping, and we realized that there was nowhere in the area to shop unless you were making that the hour and a half, 2-hour drive down to another city.
Division I started when Quad and I were inside of. They had a back section full of just Supreme accessories, some streetwear, whether it was Antisocial Club or Babe. While we were in there shopping around, I got to asking questions in regards to what sold the best in their store. You know, I was just curious how well they did with these items that were in there. And she had mentioned that it was really some of their best-selling stuff. You know, there was more questions that were asked, but that's really all I needed to hear to have an idea of whether or not there was people actually buying this stuff. We walked out of and looked at each other and could just sense it. The light bulbs just went on at that point. We knew we had to open something in the area. Then within a month, we had a name and a logo, and that's really how the idea started.
It really grew from just kicking it at the store to me needing an internship and Matt and Quad needing someone to handle the marketing. It made more sense than ever for me to jump right in with them.
At the beginning, you know, we were paying ourselves through consignment. Also, just the long days, you know. It went from, you know, working a 9 to 5, knowing that that money would be there, and just knowing that, you know, that was your life, to now your 9 to 5 is now 24/7. That is life. That's one of the struggles, is adapting to that change of no longer being an employee, now being a boss, a decision maker, a problem solver, and then that leads into, you know, as the company grows, filling a company up with people that mirror Matt and myself.
One thing that's really big with Division I is how we treat people, and although I never really enjoyed those call center jobs, matter of fact, I really dreaded those call center jobs, it taught me a lot that I didn't realize at the time. Basically, to sum it up, we really care about how we treat people here. I think that's very important with customer experience, and Division I is, you walk in here, top tier, period. One of the cool things about how we opened was we already had good reputations in the area, whether it was basketball, you know, Quad went to high school in the area, so he knew a lot of people, and just, you know, who we were as individuals had an impact on how well we started.
So while we did have struggles, we had a lot of small wins that kept us going. We opened on September 15th, I believe it was. On September 14th, we had a small friends and family gathering at the shop. It was a crazy day. We made a lot of money, and that was just like a good sign to us. Our first month was an amazing month in sales, just another sign that, you know, we were doing the right thing. This area wasn't big into fashion and sneakers and everything like that. And now you see parents, even grandparents coming in here getting easy, just adapting to the culture that is growing. Kids come and do interviews with us because they want to interview an entrepreneur, and it's just, that's a win.
Within the next year, we really look to open a new location in a new city. We want to have stores eventually all over the country. Also, you know, we're looking to grow our YouTube, providing you guys content, showing you a little bit about who we are and what we do and how we move.
My goals will be to expand our merch, also to just keep growing and scaling the company.
So throughout the internship, outside of marketing, I was really able to, you know, learn how to run a business and how this world works outside of marketing, which helped me become, you know, the Swiss Army knife that I am today.
If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe so you can see more dope content. We'll be giving away a PlayStation 5 to one of our first 500 subscribers.